This is the Global Business Report here on the Arise News channel. Just moments ago in Enugu State, Vice President Kashim Shettima addressed the Southeast Vision 2050 Stakeholder Forum convened by the Southeast Development Commission. The forum, of course, brought together government officials, private sector leaders, and development partners to chart a shared path towards sustainable prosperity for Southeast Nigeria. We'll now play back the Vice President's remarks.
First of all, I want to slightly deeper on the estimation presented by His Excellency Professor Kufumasoro. The Igbo population is more than 35 million. Because they are all Igbo in diaspora than in the homeland. The largest voting bloc in Lagos after the Yorubas have been leading. You cannot win election and so level in Kesa, in Amon, in so many communities in Ojo without the Igbo vote. And this lady is a Lagosian and she can be a testimony to the power of the Igbo vote. And in Abuja, the Igbos are the single largest voting bloc. So you cannot even combine the Igbos to the 5 southeastern states. In Ghana, Mena or local government area of Kogi State, and also in Ibaji, there are resident Igbos, Igbo-speaking indigenous of Kogi State. So also in Odu and Odu local government areas of Benue State. If you find him in New Zealand, anyone there in Chibucha Amechi or Nyesom region, he can claim to be as a very man, even in Britain. And Nyesom Region is something more. But anywhere you find someone there, you can do or you can. Even if you don't ask me, that person is an evil one. Our host, the executive governor of Enugu State, my brother, Dr. Peter, who will see my brother, the governor of Abia State, Dr. Abia Scott. Our elder governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Shettima, I'm like disciplinary and governor of the Holy State. I'm the speaker of the Igbo State House of Assembly, representing Governor. The Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, represented by Professor Julius Yombere, the majority leader of the House of Representatives. And I want to use you to appreciate and recognize all members of the National Assembly from Minister of Regional Industry and Investment Dr. Government Minister for Innovation, Science and Technology, I think there is inside close to Igbo royalty. There is no closer to her. She is the daughter of former governor city owner and the widow of him if we had done the Excellency, we are talking Senior Presidential Minister, members of the diplomatic or the High Commissioner of Extended Nigeria, the Chairman of the Board of KCDC, the young and dynamic Managing Director, Mr. Marco Koye, our royal fathers, the Catholic Archbishop of Accra, Most Reverend Paulinus Ide Okafor, and all the clergymen present here. President General, I can't hear to for Senator John Asuta, members of the Enugu State House of Assembly, captains of industry, members of the fourth estate of the Ring, our distinguished personalities, who made a restoration, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The South says, I never had it so good. The building we are in was started 20 years ago by former governor Shettima. It was completed during the tenure of the president. When he argued to mantle of leadership, people were getting 2 to 3 million liters of water per year. He swung into action as a proactive person. And now, Enugu is supply with 120 million liters. Beyond that, the Smart School initiative is a beauty to behold because education is greatest. On a Monday, I was in America. While I wishes, so many were put the hospital rooms, in market rooms. I used to be a super son, a very big son. Incidentally, a son of the son was the governor of Indians. We are going to make him who we are village of the and we are very proud of you for that. When there was a crisis about a week ago in Amasi and also other communities in Enugu State, while we lost 9 lives, the governor swung in action, suspended political leaders in those communities, sanctioned traditional rulers in those communities. This is called leadership. Leadership is about making decisions. Right now, we're fancy. Of way to well, and of course, there is one person whose almost an aberration is an abnormality. He has a picture for facing the whole head. It was a name for Mark Butcher. There were genuine grievances in this house, there's no doubt about it. Senator Mbaka has highlighted it. But when criminality takes over, it makes a mincemeat of legitimate aspirations of the people. And this aberration of a man, he rose to the challenge of leadership. He called up the bluff of the criminal elements in Anambra State. Locally, he succeeded as the Onitsha main market is now open for business on Mondays. Leadership is crucial, and honestly, I'm not playing to the gallery. In Imo, Governor Hope Udodima is investing heavily in infrastructure. The South is quality, the quality of leadership, the cohort that are currently ruling. In the Southeast of region, we have never had it so good. As Martin Luther King said, the ultimate measure of a man is not why he stands at times of comfort and convenience, but why he stands at times of challenge and controversy. This gentleman rose to the challenge of leadership. And we have to own it up. We cannot afford to play the ostrich. Martin Niemöller, a German Lutheran pastor and theologian, once said, they came all the socialists and I did not talk because I was not a socialist. They came for the trade unionists and I did not talk because I was not a trade unionist. They came for the Jew and I did not talk because I was not a Jew. They came for me and there was no one to stand for me. We have to be our brothers' keeper. We have to stand for each other. As John Donne, the philosopher, said, neighbors, I am involved in mankind. Never send to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. So this South African concept of Ubuntu, we need to actually internalize and practice it in this part of the world. And the Igbos, we call them the Nigerian Jews, geographically mobile, economically enterprising, and educationally ambitious. You are the top of the black man. But you have to realize you are full potential. And this support of governance will see our dream come to reality. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Southeast has long occupied a distinctive place in Nigeria's industrial and commercial imagination. It is a region defined not only by memory, but by motion. It is shaped by industry, resilience, ingenuity, and enterprise. Across generations, the good people of the Southeast have shown an uncommon ability to create value while others see impossibilities. To innovate enterprise and to compete with confidence far beyond their immediate environment. It is therefore no surprise that we gather here today to witness a region preparing itself for a changing world. One increasingly defined not only by the strength of ideas, but by the power of innovation. I commend the Southeast Development Commission, the Federal Ministry of Regional Development, the governments of the 5 Southeast states, and all our partners for convening this important gathering. Each forum reflects foresight, responsibility, and a shared understanding that the future is not something we wait for, but something we know deliberately deny. I am also mindful that this meeting is taking place in a moment of mixed emotions in the Southeast. There is hope, and there is also anxiety. There is reflection, and there is also expectation. History teaches us that it is precisely in such moments that dialogue becomes indispensable. Planning becomes urgent, and leadership must be steady rather than loud. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me say this without ambiguity. The Southeast matters deeply to this administration. Not as an attraction, not as a concession, but as a central pillar of Nigeria's economic future. What we are doing here today is not an exercise in which provide potential. That potential is already evident. What matters now is how we implement it, how we structure it, and how we align it with long-term national development goals through coordinated. This is why the 2050 matters. This projection is an invitation to think beyond electoral immediacy, beyond reactive governance, and beyond short-term fixes that deliver headline but not progress. In access, we look 25 years ahead and answer difficult or necessary questions. What kind of Southeast do we intend to do? What infrastructure must we start delivering now to make the future possible? What institution must we strengthen to support growth and stability? What opportunities must be deliberately created for young people? And how do we ensure that growth is inclusive, sustainable, and outward on things of productivity. These questions cannot be answered by government alone. They demand collective leadership. They demand a partnership of states, markets, communities, and citizens. It was this understanding that informed the creation of the South-East Development Commission. The decision was both deliberate and necessary. The South-East carries in form a unique historical problem, particularly in the form of infrastructure deficits that followed an unfortunate growth. For decades, these gaps limited connectivity, reduced competitiveness, and constrained opportunity. The commission was therefore established, not only to address inherited deficits, but to provide a platform for long-term regional planning and the delivery of projects that can across state boundaries. The LCPC was designed to keep beyond annual budgets and electoral calendars. Its mandate is structural transformation, infrastructure, industrialization, and regional competitiveness. And the excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear. This is not another video of democracy. It is a deliberate institution who can contribute outcomes that translate into jobs, productivity, and growth. In recognition of the distinctive character of the South-East, its entrepreneurial spirit, its global diaspora, and its long-standing relationship with international capital, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of the South-East Investment Company Limited. Was created to mobilize resources from the diaspora, capital markets, and development finance institutions, and to challenge the energy infrastructure and human capital development opportunity. From energy infrastructure to transport connectivity, from industrial clusters to skill development and enterprise, empowerment to accelerated growth are clear. What will determine the success? A discipline, motivation, and a shared sense of balance. And I want to thank you, my sister from Ghana. Nigeria to come last, and we made the very beautiful. Thank you. One of the most important aspects of this movement is the principle and global character. Here we see federal and state governments working in partnership. We see traditional institutions and political leaders seated at the same table. We see private sector leaders and development partners engaged from the outset. We see the voices of youth, civil society, women, and the diaspora fully represented. I'm particularly pleased to acknowledge the participation of Women Igbo Unite, the United States-based organization of over 10,000 young professionals across healthcare, finance, law, technology, and other critical sectors represented here by this president. Why the president? Kindly stand up for the recognition. You are asking that we work so again, can I understand? You have to say my attention. Government deliver the meeting to require shared responsibility of states, the private sector, traditional institutions, civil society, and the diaspora. And to the young people of the South-East, and Nigeria as a whole, let me speak plainly to you on behalf of President Bola Tinubu. You are not spectators in our national government. You are central to it. You are enemy. Creativity and ambition are essential to Nigeria we are hoping to build. This moral model will translate into real opportunities. Opportunities for skills acquisition, opportunities for jobs and enterprise, opportunity for leadership and participation. Development must not be an abstract promise. It must be felt in the daily lives of our people. And deliberations continue over the coming days. I encourage all participants to engage openly constructively and with a shared sense of responsibility. Let this forum generate ideas that are bold yet practical. Let it build consensus while differences exist. Let it lay the foundation for partnerships that endure long after this forum is ended. Nigeria is strongest when it begins to power. The success of the Southeast is inseparable from the success of the nation. It is gathered and attended for. From conversation to coordination, from ideas to implementation, and from vision to technical value for our children. Therefore, with optimism and confidence, I declare the South Region 2025 Regional Stakeholders Forum officially open on behalf of the Thank you, our professors.
The Vice President of the Joint Vice President for photographs, please.
Was Vice President Kashim Shettima, Southeast Development Council there, or rather committee, speaking about the Vision 2050 Forum, of course attended by a number of Southeast governors, including the governor of Enugu State, Abia, and Anambra, plus a number of private sector dignitaries. A whole lot going on in Southeast Nigeria.